A late run from Molly Jensen, who's finishing well on the outside of Ready to Dare, 16th pole. Prime and Ready by 3, and Prime and Ready way too good for this field. Prime and Ready reports home a comfortable winner. Molly Jensen second, heads bobbing up and down between Ready to Dare and Agro for the show dough. And they're off. In without knocking, Miss Peru, Mineral Rights on the outside, Bet the Chalk, and Your Royal Flyness now moves through to take third into the first turn. So it is Miss Peru narrowly. Mineral Rights right up alongside the challenge in second, and then Bet the Chalk, Your Royal Flyness on the fence, just 3 lengths or so off the lead, leaving In Without Knocking as the trailer. They swing on to the backstretch. Miss Peru, the long shot leader, has it by a length. Mineral Rights tracks from second. 2 more lengths to Bet the Chalk in third. Then comes Your Royal Flyness, joined by In Without Knocking. They've taken slightly closer order. No more than 5 lengths covers the field. They're coming to the half-mile pole. And it's Miss Peru, a neck in front of Mineral Rights in second, and Bet the Chalk inches up closer with every stride. Mineral Rights takes the lead. Fellow color bearer Bet the Chalk moves into second as Miss Peru bows out third. In Without Knocking and Your Royal Flyness. Mineral Rights, Bet the Chalk on the outside, puts the head in front. 3 more. In Without Knocking is making solid headway in third. These 3 are dominating past the quarter pole. Bet the Chalk needs to hold off In Without Knocking on the outside as Mineral Rights fights on down at the rail. They're coming to the 8th pole. Bet the Chalk 2-length lead. In Without Knocking grinding closer with every stride. Bet the Chalk, In Without Knocking. Bet the Chalk a length and a half with a 16th of a mile to go, clinging to the lead. And Bet the Chalk rewards the Chalk backer. Scores by 2 at the 7-5 morning line. In Without Knocking second. Your Royal Flyness rallied for third. Sakil completes the lineup. We're in the gate. And they're off. Cowboy Mike began beautifully. Here's Code Duello sprinting through on the inside to take over. At the rail, Clampett, and it wasn't the greatest of beginnings for Sakil, who's at the back of the field. 4 lengths covers them as Code Duello gets a relatively easy lead onto the main track. Has it by a length and a half over the favorite Cowboy Mike in second. Then Clampett ahead behind Cowboy Mike, and 3 more lengths back to Sakil. They're coming toward the half-mile pole, and it's Armando Ayuso and Code Duello leading the way a length and a half. Cowboy Mike is clearly second, and at the rail, Clampett third, but only 2 lengths off the lead. Still 4 back to Sakil. Heading to the 3/8 pole, Code Duello's had it all his own way. Cowboy Mike being worked upon, trying to close the gap in second. He's all in. At the rail, Clampett is in third. 5 back to Sakil. Coming to the quarter pole, Code Duello maintaining the lead. Cowboy Mike on the outside. Clampett at the rail in third, trying to sneak through along the fence. He's finding that room now as they come to the 8th pole. And Clampett and Flavian Pratt run right by Code Duello. Cowboy Mike on the outside, and then Sakil. They're coming to the 16th pole, and Clampett is much the best today. Clampett pulls away to win it by almost 3 lengths. Clampett scores over Cowboy Mike, Code Duello, and Sakil. Sharp ride going in. All set. And they're off. Solid Tune dwelt and is far, far behind. It is a quick beginning for Stellar Cap. Cheeky Gal matches strides and takes the lead. They're joined by Isabel Ludlow coming through at the rail. Then Sapadilla, fourth between horses, 3 lengths off the lead. Sharp Ride is next. Solid Tune, hopelessly left at the back. They're coming to the half-mile pole. Isabel Ludlow at the rail, and Cheeky Gal presses. 2 more to Stellar Cap in third. At the rails, Sapadilla with Sharp Ride inching up on the outside to take fourth. Still a distance to Solid Tune. Midway on the far turn, Isabel Ludlow and Cheeky Gal continuing a ding-dong affair with Stellar Cap in pursuit, 3 deep third. Sharp Ride trying to rev up from fourth, still has 3 to make up with a quarter of a mile to go. Isabel Ludlow hugs the rail and goes on. Cheeky Gal a half length back in second, and now Sharp Ride is starting to get going with a strong bid, and Sharp Ride takes off, goes right by, and turns the lights out on the competition. Sharp Ride and Tiago Pereira, another for Harris Farms. This time it's Sharp Ride cruising home. Isabel Ludlow held second. Then it was Stellar Cap third in front of Cheeky Gal. We're in the gate. And they're off. So I'm Told is sprinting out for the early lead. 34 Coupe into second. Anita New Mercedes is down at the rail. And Supernal splits that pair, moves up to take second. Then it's Aurelian Man, Trusty Rusty, and B Catcher at the back of the field. Into the first turn, So I'm Told will be the pace setter. Supernal a length back second. Then comes Anita New Mercedes, 34 Coupe off the pace with 4.5 to make up. Then comes Trusty Rusty, Aurelian Man outside of him, and 2 more to B Catcher. They swing on to the backstretch, and So I'm Told is clear by himself. A 3-length advantage on Supernal second. Then comes Anita New Mercedes, inching a little bit closer while under snug restraint in third, and 34 Coupe still in fourth, over 5 lengths off the lead. B Catcher is next, Trusty Rusty inside of him, and Aurelian Man at the back. So I'm Told into the far turn has a 3-length lead. 34 Coupe now gets his cue and cuts into the margin willingly. So I'm Told, 34 Coupe a length and a half back second. Down at the rail, Anita New Mercedes is in third. Then comes Aurelian Man, who's moving up on the red colors on the outside, turning for home. So I'm Told still there with a 2-length lead on 34 Coupe. Aurelian Man angles to the middle of the course. They're in the final furlong, and 34 Coupe has his sights on So I'm Told. So I'm Told, 34 Coupe. 34 Coupe wearing him down, and 34 Coupe takes care of business. So I'm Told was second. Trusty Rusty got into third in front of Anita New Mercedes. In the gate. And they're off. 5-0 Cocktail is sprinting out for the early lead. Tiger Queen comes through along the inside, and A Real Jewel is up and on the pace, just a length and a half or so, now 2 behind. Then comes Happy in the teal colors, racing on the inside of Attracted Between Horses, and Blue Wildcat 3 deep at the back of a compact group. No more than 4 lengths, covers all of them. It's Tiger Queen to the half-mile pole. Just under a length in front of 5-0 Cocktail second. Another 2 back to a Real Jewel, who's lost a little ground. Now being shoved along. Happy joins at the rail. Attracted is in between those two, making solid headway now. And Attracted just 2.5 off the pace. A 4 wide Blue Wildcat trails. They're a quarter of a mile from home. The new leader is 5-0 Cocktail. Tiger Queen dropping back suddenly at the rail in second. 2 more, a Real Jewel on the outside of Attracted. Attracted angles out, trying to take a crack at 5-0 Cocktail in the final 1/8 of a mile. 5-0 Cocktail goes on willingly, Happy on the inside and Attracted attacking on both sides. 5-0 Cocktail, here's Happy grabbing the rail and taking the lead, and it will be Happy and Francisco Duran out finishing Attracted. Then it was 5-0 Cocktail third, then Blue Wildcat fourth. We're in the gate. And they're off. Love Our Family, Smiling Lady a little bit quicker. Dendera and Stop Digging are in the firing line. Nancy Griffith, one from the outside, is part of a pretty hot pace in the early going. Nothing Is Forever settles in a good spot, 5 lengths off the lead, and Girl Can't Help It at the back of the field. They're heading to the 6 furlong pole, and it is Smiling Lady uncontested on the front end. Dendera moves through on the inside to take second. Nancy Griffith alongside, and then comes Love Our Family, who's 3 deep and 3 lengths off the lead. Stop Digging is comfortable in the purple cap just behind that trio, followed by Nothing Is Forever, and Girl Can't Help It continues to trail. They're heading to the half-mile pole behind Smiling Lady. Smiling Lady leads by 1.5 lengths. Nancy Griffith in second. Dendera at the rail. Love Our Family still packed out widest of all. Stop Digging cruising along in fifth. 3 lengths off the lead. 3 clear of Girl Can't Help It, and Nothing Is Forever. 3 furlongs to run. Smiling Lady, Nancy Griffith. Nancy Griffith runs right on by. There's room for Stop Digging, who comes through on the inside. Love Our Family, in the meantime, has taken second. They're a quarter of a mile from home. Stop Digging, hugging the rail and coming after Nancy Griffith. Love Our Family outside of that pair. 4 lengths back, Girl Can't Help It, and Nothing Is Forever. A final furlong, Nancy Griffith on the inside of Love Our Family. These two go on. Love Our Family doing the better work with a 16th to go. Pulls a 1.5 lengths clear. Girl Can't Help It. And a big run from Nothing Is Forever flying. But Love Our Family got there. Nothing Is Forever with a flourish to complete the exacta. Then it was Nancy Griffith third. Photo between Stop Digging and Girl Can't Help It. It's official. Can you hear me? We're in the gate. And they're off. Slight bobble for Andy. Can you hear me? It looked like. Quick start for player B, who comes out of there pretty smoothly and now steps on the gas, opens up 3 lengths in a matter of seconds. Man Child moves into second. Down at the rail comes Uncle John, and Andy, Can You Hear Me, is in fourth. Then Mischievous Patty, fifth in the yellows, 6 lengths off the lead. Behind him comes Kid Azteca and Rhythm on Stage on a tight hold at the back. Player B and Edwin Maldonado cruising past the half-mile pole in charge. 2 lengths in front. Man Child moves into second. At the rail, Uncle John third. Andy, Can You Hear Me? 3 off the pace in fourth. Then Mischievous Patty. Kid Azteca, 6 or 7 off the lead. And 2 more to Rhythm on Stage. It's player B, the target, coming to the quarter pole, pursued by Man Child. At the rail, Uncle John looking for racing room in third. Andy, Can You Hear Me? Kid Azteca swings to the center of the course for his run. Top of the stretch end, player B with a 2-length lead. Here comes Kid Azteca out of the pack, and he's closing stoutly now. It's player B, Kid Azteca, eating up the ground with every stride and confidently handled. Flavian Pratt will take half the card today. Kid Azteca gives Pratt his fourth. Player B second. It is a photo for third between Man Child and Andy, Can You Hear Me? Rhythm on Stage was on the scene to try to get a piece of the super high five.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a beautiful Saturday here in Arcadia, California. Today is the day where we honor Calbreds. That's right, all 11 races beginning at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time are for Calbreds, and there's 5 stakes races as part of that 11 race program. And think back through the years of some of the most successful Calbreds that we all know from a national basis, not just from a California basis. Tiz Now, Best Pal, California Chrome, Free House, Snow Chief, Lava Man, and The Chosen Run. I'm an Illinois bred, and my seminar guest today is also an Illinois bred, but we're going to talk about the Calbreds. His name, Gary Young. Gary, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thanks, Quiggs. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you here. Now, I rattled off some of those all-time great Calbreds. You saw them probably before they ever debuted. Maybe what are one or two, like maybe Best Pal or somebody else that you knew was a runner before the rest of us did?
Best Pal was... that was in my early years out here. You
moved out here in the early 80s.
I began here in 81.
Okay.
And I forget what exactly, but Best Pal is a 2-year-old. I forget what year it was, but he was, Ian Jory trained him. Golden Eagle owned him, and they had, 5 or 6 trainers at that time. And, Gary Jones was probably training the mainstream and stuff. So they gave this horse to Ian, and it was kind of told you he might not have been what they thought was, the A team.
The A team, yep.
And as he got closer and closer to his debut at Hollywood, it's like, holy cow, this horse can really run, And the first time out, he was 20-1 in the morning line.
You had to be salivating.
I drove very fast from my Marina Del Rey apartment to get there that day, and I go in there.
Looked like a police chase. You were going so fast.
At first flash, he's 5-2. I go, what the hell, and he won. He didn't win off by 5, but he won. And you could kind of tell that he was not really. That there was a lot more in the package than that. And he turned out to be, it didn't matter who trained him, whether it was Ian, whether it was Gary Jones, whether it was Mandela. He was just a professional racehorse and just terrific. There weren't many bad races in his past performances.
Gary, you see the horses on the track, but you also look at them at auction when they're babies. And right now, we're almost on the cusp of a lot of the auctions basically popping up in the calendar the next couple of months. What are some of the ones you'll be attending?
The 2 Ocala sales, the one in March, the one in April, and the Maryland sale Preakness week back there in May. That's
and those 3 are where you can find hidden gems, right? In other words, Keeneland seems to dominate the yearling sales, but in terms of value, those sales to me seem like where you can find some diamonds in the rough.
They're not. Yes. If a horse clicks all the boxes, like it's by a high-profile stallion, works terrific, and knocks your eyes out at the barn, those horses are going to go for a lot of money. But sometimes, you'll find one that you like that is by a solid stallion and has some pedigree, maybe in the 2nd or 3rd dam, and you like it at the barn. You can't fault it. But you kind of think the horse might be a better looking horse 3 or 4 months down the road that isn't in. Sometimes those are the kind you can get for bargain prices, or what turns out to be a bargain.
Well, you've had a lot of success. You've bought 3 Breeders' Cup winners and 1 Kentucky Derby winner. So whatever you're doing must be working. I don't want to have you give away all the trade secrets. But besides the things you just mentioned, how are you able to find such talented runners?
You like seeing them at the barn, and if they've worked well, there's going to be a lot of people bringing them out and in and out of the stall, and you kind of like to see horses that just handle that without getting flustered. You like to see a horse that he's a good looking. You like to buy a good looking horse, but you like to, if you're just looking down the road, you can like to think that horse will develop into an even better looking 3-year-old and stuff like that. It's, and at the end of the day, you take your shot. And when a horse goes in the ring, you might sometimes think, all right, my top dollar, I'm going to pay for this horse or something like that. And, sometimes if the bidding is going really fast and it's like, oh, this horse is going to go for way more than I really wanted to spend for him, you kind of let go. But if it's kind of going up in small increments, you might exceed your budget by a little bit because, when they bring one in there that clicks the boxes, it's tough to guess how much the final price will be, but you try to have some kind of neighborhood that you think the horse will be in.
I've heard other buyers say that they have a short list, which basically means they try and narrow down the catalog. Do you try and do that, or do you try and keep an open mind where maybe something that you weren't expecting actually looks better than maybe what you thought on the page?
I'll go to the preview, and if they don't do it for me on the racetrack, there's no sense in me pulling them out of the barn. But if they do it for me on the racetrack, then you go diving into the pedigrees and, see how sons of how the nick is and what past success horses with the similar breeding have had. It's a long, drawn-out process, but when you get it right, there's a lot of satisfaction in it.
I've mentioned the 3 Breeders' Cup winners and the 1 Kentucky Derby winners. Refresh our mind. Who are those runners? What were their names?
Medina Spirit, Bracco, and Midnight Loot.
Bracco really put you on the map, though. I remember those days. Tell the story briefly about that whole clan that you were involved with Bracco.
The Broccoli's, the people that owned the horse, they were the first people to give me my big break. I came out here working for the Winnick stable, and they decided to buy some horses with Winnick and Arnold and Randy, and they asked me to go to the sales and look, and before the sales we met, and Mrs. Broccoli said, well, who's the one horse you want to make sure that we buy? And I said, just Mrs. B. I said, buy the Chris S. colt. And
what did he go for?
$215,000.
It's a bargain.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. Wayne Hughes was the other guy bidding, and
he didn't stop because he couldn't afford it.
Well, this was before Public Storage, but they weren't holding any benefits for Wayne either. But he stopped, and we got the horse, and he was okay. But when we got him down to Delmar, he started doing things that were like pretty wild. Like he'd go the first quarter in 24-2 and come home in like 23 flat and just without urging, and he just looked like a locomotive that could run all day. And he provided me with one of my biggest days when he won the Breeders' Cup in 1993, and one of my biggest heartbreaks when he got left in the gate in 94. It was, to people that were there that week that knew it, you just got the idea that Holy Bull wasn't going to fire that day. He went on to be a great horse after that, but he just didn't look like he wanted to be there. And I was convinced I was going to win that race. And, he got left in the gate. He got up for as bad as he got left, for him to get up to second at the 8th pole was a Herculean effort, but he was spent by then, and Go for Gin was going on the lead. And, I took the defeat in less than heroic style, but I mean, the horse was my first big horse as far as buying at auction, and I got him and the Broccoli's a lot to thank. To start out with people like that, and to start out with a horse like that. Definitely starting out at the top of the tree, let's put it that way.
We never get left in the gate whenever we have Private Clocker and Bloodstock agent Gary Young as our seminar guest. Gary's going to give us his opinion on all 11 California Cup Day races today. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on a beautiful Saturday here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cal Cup Day here at Santa Anita Park. It pays to be Calbred. The track is fast. The turf is firm. The rail on the turf for this outstanding day of racing is at 0 feet. Here are the early changes. In the first, start of the early pick 5, scratch number 1, Throw in Heat, and scratch number 10, Brahms Mendelssohn. Number 9, Twilight Time, make the jockey Asael Espinoza. Kazushi Kimura has been excused from his mounts today. Race 2 begins the early pick 4. Number 4, Shake the Dust, carries 3 pounds overweight. Turning to race 3. Just a blinker note. The 4th is the Don Valpredo Cal Cup Sprint. No show wagering. Scratch number 2, Geezer. Note that number 4, Big City Lights, now ridden by Flavien Prat. We offer a middle pick 4 today, starting with race 5. Number 7, Got Soul. Make the jockey Armando Ayuso. The $2 pick 6 starts with the 6. Scratch number 2, Shady Appeal. In the 7th, the Sunshine Millions, Filly and Mare Turf Sprint, presented by John Deere. Number 2, Moment's Pleasure, the jockey Flavien Prat. Scratch 4, Satellite Heart. Note that the all-turf pick 3 and late pick 5 both start with the 7th. In the 8th, number 6, Western Freedom. Make the jockey Armando Ayuso. Late pick 4 starts with the 8th. In race 9, the Unusual Heat Turf Classic, presented by City National Bank. Start of the late pick 3, no changes. Race 10, the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby, no changes. And note that the $5 late double starts with the 10th. In the 11th, scratch 9, Grateful My Love. Note that number 13, musical number, will now be ridden by Flavien Prat while drawing into the race. The 11th is the Leanne Howard Cal Cup Oaks. Those are the early changes on this day to celebrate the California breds. Post time for the first is in 56 minutes at 11:30. We do once again offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5, another extraordinary payout yesterday. Every Saturday and Sunday, and for the next couple of Fridays, just like yesterday, we will offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5, combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita. Yesterday's payoff more than $15,000. There have been some incredible payoffs in the Coast to Coast Pick 5. It starts with Gulfstream's 10th today. At this time, we go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today, a man who knows what he's looking at. Private clocker and bloodstock agent, Gary Young.
Welcome back, and indeed a man who does know what he's talking about is Gary Young, who's a privilege to be my seminar guest today. He certainly knows the ins and outs of all aspects of the game. It's our pleasure to have him. Gary, a lot of ground to cover, 11 races in basically 24 minutes. So let's kick things right off here in race number 1, which begins the 50-cent early pick 5. Race 1 is a split of race number 5, and that means the conditions are 6 furlongs in the turf course for Calbred maiden special weights, 3-year-olds. The turf rails today are at 0 feet. 2 scratches. Scratch the 1 and the 10 leaves us with a field of 8. Asa Espinoza rides number 9, Twilight Time. Kaz Kamura will not be riding today due to that starting gate incident on Thursday. 8 ways you can go here, Gary. Who do you like and why?
You know, I started out favorite in this race. I was going to, the Sadler horse, Lord Dunmore, he stumbled pretty bad at that race the other day. Probably wasn't going to beat the winner anyway, but I thought he ran a pretty respectable race. My next 2 horses were I was going for a little bit of value on the 4. This horse has showed some ability in the morning for a barn that doesn't get a lot of attention. So I thought that horse might provide some value. And, the 2 horse on the rail, Peter Miller turns him back to a sprint today. He might, that might be what he wants to do. And, I thought those 2 horses were probably the favorites biggest competition. It's your basic Calbred maiden race.
And Gary mentioned number 2, Giant Luther, as one of his competitors or contenders. Giant Luther right now on the board at even money off a morning line of 5-1. Certainly taking some early action. Race number 2, Gary, begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This is for maiden claiming Calbred 3-year-olds in for a $12,500 tag, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. It's primarily restricted to those runners that have been running up in Northern California. We've got a field of 9. Number 8, P22 from the Steve Miotti barn is 6-5 in the morning line. Give us your thoughts on race 2.
Well, you know, he's been running second for maiden 25 and maiden 20. So for maiden 12-5, he looks like he's going to be King Kong. You're not going to get any value on him wagering wise. You know, unfortunately, the 2 horses I had beneath him, the 6 and the 4, they're probably second and third choices. It's about all I can really say in that race, to tell you the truth, Quiggs.
8 and 6 in race number 2. Let's turn the page, take a look at race number 3. Sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for maiden claiming Calbred, fillies and mares. $50,000 of the claiming tag. Field of 6, number 2, Maya Kama from the Jeff Mullins barn has an improving Beyer speed figure pattern. 3-5 according to Jeff Siegel. What's race 3 according to Gary Young?
Maya Kama is my top horse. I don't know about 3-5. I thought, you know, I guess on the Buyer's numbers and everything, she probably will be 3-5. I thought if you were trying to maybe hook her up with something, you know, the 4 and the 3 look like the 2 other horses. I mean, Brad Pegram and Flavian Pratt, they can pick and choose their mounts and everything. And Naturally Blonde drops in first time for a tag, and they choose to ride this horse. So, you know, that would probably be Maya Kama's biggest competition, but not a lot of value in this race, but we'll see what happens.
Gets deeper as we get later in the card, that's for sure. Race number 4 is the first of 5 stakes races on today's card. It's the Don Valparaiso, Don Valparaiso California Cup Sprint for Calbred, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. Scratch the 2, Geezer, leaves us with a field of 4. The morning line favorite, Big City Lights, now being ridden by Flavian Pratt. 2-5 on the morning line. Gary, before we get your thoughts on the race, we want to take a look at a workout for Big City Lights. This was his most recent workout on January 12th, just a few days ago. He's down here on the inside. Why'd you want to show this workout?
This horse works like a machine. He's always, from the time he's came around, he's always acted like an exceptional horse, not just an exceptional Calbred. You know, I believe that's an unraced maiden outside of Mr. Mandela wanted to, you know, give this horse a little competition. Big City Lights, him and the horse that we'll get later too in the card of Mark Glatz, a gray horse later in the card, they come out there and they just work, and you can just tell that, you know, look at this horse come to the wire. He's floating over the ground. There's no urging whatsoever.
They exude class.
Yes, there's no, he gallops out like, you know, if you wanted him to, he'd have done another victory lap. I mean, nice horse. I mean, this is, you know, he's age 6 and he hasn't lost a step. He's ran 12 races and been 1, 2, 10 of those races. Those are the kind that could sleep in our barn any day of the week.
And a lot of those losses came at the hands of the chosen rod. No such animal today, needless to say. You like him on top. You also like Clovis Connection, the invader from Northern California, who has been working here at Santa Anita, at least the last 2 works. Did you see either of those works?
I saw the minute work. He looked okay. We're talking about a horse that's ran 17 times and won 11 of them.
What's wrong with that?
That's PRH, professional racehorse, right there. Nice horse. You know, I'm sure they knew going in that Big City Lights was going to be here waiting for him. But you know, 125,000. I mean, second place is 25,000. That's decent money, and you know, I would think he would be Big City Lights' biggest competition. He probably is going to make the lead in this race, but you know, the Big City Lights isn't a slow horse, and Flavian can read a racing for him in addition to being able to do everything else. So he'll probably be lapped right on him.
On today's 11 race card, we offer a 50-cent middle pick 4, which begins in race number 5, as mentioned previously. Race 5 is a split of race number 1. We're going 6 furlongs in the turf course. For maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-olds, we've got a good field of 9. Number 9, Glass of Jameson, is a first-time gelding. Make the jockey. And number 7, Got Soul, Armando Ayuso. Miles Finch is the 6-5 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 5, Gary.
You know, I was going to take a little shot in here. I could definitely see Miles Finch, but I like the way the bottom horse worked. He's been gelded since the race. He worked with Fantastic the other day and looked very nice. The gate work on the December 1st, it wasn't fast time-wise, but he looked pretty good. He worked and he's worked with Bound to Success. Also, I look for this horse to run a better race today. He was 2-1 first time out. Obviously, nothing happened. And obviously, they were expecting more to happen because they changed this horse's manlyhood right after the race. 8 days after that race, he had a definite surgery done to him. He's worked okay. He gets Juan Hernandez. He's 12-1. You know, I could see this horse today. I don't mean to take anything away from Miles Finch, but I could definitely see Glass of Jameson.
Race number 6 begins the $2 pick 6, and what a great sequence it is. The first leg of the pick 6 is 6 furlongs in the main track. For Calbred, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 2. Shady Appeal leaves us with a field of 7. Number 7, Lonesome Stew from the Mark Latt barn is 7-5 on the morning line. You've already mentioned Lonesome Stew's name already once during the seminar today. Obviously, you think he's a very talented Calbred.
Okay, this is the story of my life. He came out at Del Mar and did nothing. Didn't train that well, did nothing. Took a while off, came back and did nothing. Off slow, troubled trip was the chart's comment. So then he comes back for the October 9th race of 2023, and this horse is working like a bomb. And I'm like, what the hell? You know? So let's just put it this way. Instead of unloading, I just went to the $10 or $20 line and I didn't want him to win without me
being a part of it.
But I certainly didn't unload.
Never thinking he'd run a 91 Beyer speed figure.
He ran off the TV screen.
Correct, at 11-1.
And he's reminded me every time he's run since then that what an idiot I was for not unloading that day. I mean, he's had some stops and starts in his career, but he is a professional racehorse. I will not be betting against him today. I respect our Bucky Charm. You know, he's got to be a pro too. I mean, he's 6 years old, and this is the 3rd race of his life.
Amazing.
So he's had some stops.
Kudos to the owners for keeping him in training.
Right.
It's not cheap.
You know, yeah. The poor. I mean, but he's definitely done okay as far as producing for him. Devil Among Us on the outside. That's a professional war horse for Doug O'Neill. He was my 3rd choice, but I mean, unfortunately, they're A and B as far as favoritism. But I thought Lonesome Stew over our Bucky Charm. I thought that's what pretty much all this race could be.
Race number 7 is the Sunshine Million, easy for me to say, filly and mare turf sprint presented by John Deere. Coming down the Hillside Turf Course, race 7 also begins the 50-cent late pick 5, as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 with the reduced 15% takeout. One scratch the 4, Satellite Heart, leaves us with a field of 8. Number 2, Moment's Pleasure, now being ridden by Flavia Pratt. Stay and Scam, the 6-5 morning line favorite, who's had some success against Open Company, now drops back in against Calbreds. Who do you like in race 7, Gary?
You know, I went, you know, Stay and Scam would probably be my top choice. I mean, he is 6-5. One thing that definitely jumped off the page in this race, and when me and a lot of other people, as you probably included, Quiggs, when you look at a race, you want to see who the speed is.
There's no pace.
There's not a drop of speed. How many times do you see a race down the hill, there's not a drop of speed in the race? The one horse that did look like he might be in front, late scratch, Satellite Heart, and he's route speed. So how this race is going to be run is a very good question. I mean, Mr. Redham bred a very nice horse with Stay and Scam. If he wins today, he goes over $500,000, and just a nice horse. My friend Gary Studi, Kermit, my man.
Won yesterday.
You got to love the frog. This horse he's made 324,000, and he occasionally will run a bad race, but he runs a lot more good ones than he does bad ones. He would be my second choice. Took a little shot with the horse on the rail as maybe being the third shot in there to get a little value. Barbara. She's been a nice. Aggie lost this horse to the aforementioned Gary Studi, and then she claimed it right back. So, she probably knew what she was doing. She claimed that back because the horse has done okay since then. That would be my rundown for race number 7.
Race number 8 begins the 50-cent late pick 4, and take a look at this field. A full field of 10 going 6 furlongs on the main track. Maiden claiming Calbred 3-year-olds in for a $50,000 tag. Number 6, Western Freedom, now being ridden by Armando Ayuso. Take note that number 2, Dancing Dylan, is a first-time gelding. Drawn right outside of him is the morning line favorite. Lukewarm favorite at that. Number 3, the Gypsy Cowboy, 7-2 on the morning line. Number of runners adding Lasix. A lot going on in this race, Gary. Try and help us out and find a winner.
Okay. I can't eat chalk all day long, so I had to go a little deep here.
It looks like a deep race.
It does. I didn't mind the way Citizen Barrett worked. Didn't mind the way he ran his first 2 races. He gets Lasix. He looks like he's working steadily down there for Richard Baltus, who definitely knows how to train a racehorse. And I was going to put him on top. The horse of Ron Ellis is in there. He drops from maiden special weight to maiden 50. And I didn't mind the way this horse worked. I thought he worked okay. He's 15-1. And the horse right outside him of Craig Lewis. Craig Lewis is a trainer that doesn't work his horses that fast in the morning. Very rarely will they get pounded because of their workouts, but he knows how to get one ready without having them work 58 and change. And I thought that horse was live in that race too. I came down to 5, 9, 10 in there.
Bombs away, 12-1 over 15-1 over 4-1. So says Gary Young for race number 8. Race number 9 is the Unusual Heat Turf Classic presented by City National Bank. $175,000 guaranteed for Calbreds going 1 1/8 on the turf course. Also, race 9 begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. Another full field of 11, including the morning line favorite, number 3, Old Pal, who's 8-5 on the morning line. Old Pal needs some pace to run at. Is he going to get it? And do you like him to win race 9, or are you looking elsewhere, Gary?
The pace thing was a definite question. I mean, it looks like Fast Buck and Jimmy Blue Jeans, they look like the only speed in the race, but could they hook up and set a nice pace? Okay. I mean, they could. Unusual Heat was an amazing horse and then an amazing sire for the
What a
California
claim by
breeding.
Barry Abrams.
Okay, Barry Abrams outshook Mark Mitchell for the horse.
Tell the story. I know the story. So they claimed him off Richard Mandela.
Mandela dropped him in for 50.
Over at Hollywood Park.
Yeah, and Abrams and Mitchell go in on the horse.
So there was a shake.
Yeah, there was a shake. And Barry won the shake, and the horse went on to do good as a racehorse, but great as a stallion. Had Mitchell won that shake, the first thing he was going to do was take that horse's manhood away the next morning and cut him and make him a gelding. So it was a very good thing for Barry Abrams.
And for Unusual Heat.
For California breeding, and most of all for Unusual Heat. I mean, he's going to wake up thinking, what the hell, what did I do to deserve this, you know? But yeah, he was, I mean, terrific California sire, broodmare sire,
Tremendous.
turf, synthetic.
Changed the industry in California.
Just, you know, he was a terrific sire.
We honor his memory here in race number 9. So pick a winner for us, Gary.
You know, I probably was going to go with the 3 horse on top. I was going to throw in a couple of price horses down below. On the whim is a horse that always catches your eye in the morning for Dean Pedersen. He's 10 years old. I mean, you got to love these old.
Exaltation the other day won for Peter Erden, 10-year-old. That was a great win by him.
I mean, it was these horses that are still 10 and still competing. This horse is at a very high level. He just missed making $200,000 last year as a 9-year-old. I mean, you got to love horses like that. I gave him a shot, and I also gave the 10 horse Coalinga Road for Carla a shot. This horse is 8. He's not a spring chicken either. He always works good. You know, I thought he could get a good trip, and I thought 1 1/8 might help him, because there does look like between Fast Buck and Jimmy Blue Jeans and maybe Takes 3, it does look like there's a pretty good chance of a lively pace in the race. So try to add a little value underneath the favorite in that race.
Gary, another runner in race 9 that I want to focus in on is number 7, Alligator, who's returning off a long layoff for trainer Mark Glatt. We haven't seen him on the racetrack since April. Glatt is hot. He gets the riding services of Flavian Pratt. And I wanted to show a workout on the training track for Alligator. This workout was back on December 20th. It's a team drill, and Alligator is going to be on the outside here as they continue their workout. The reason why I wanted to show this workout and get your expertise is a lot of times handicappers have a tough time distinguishing between workouts on the training track and how that's going to translate over to a turf performance. Are there some things we could look for in workouts in general to maybe help us identify that?
Well, it's been long believed since synthetic tracks came around. I mean, separately, right, the first time they rode on it, Gary Stevens and Mike Smith, both buddies of mine, told me turf horses will love a synthetic racetrack. And that's happened quite a bit. It's not 100%, but it's happened quite a bit. This horse here just cruising up alongside of outside of Annie's Joy, who's not a bad horse, and you know, it's held true quite often that, you know, a lot of tracks in Belmont, they're going to have synthetic racetracks, so when races come off the turf, they can put them on there, and there won't be as many scratches and everything they're hoping for. For people that watch workouts going around here and look at the workouts and their past performances and stuff, I will just say the last month and a half or so, the training track works have been very, very fast. You see a lot of horses with very fast times on it. It's not, you know, they seem to be coming out of it fine and running well off of it. But before this last 6 or 8 weeks or so, when you see a 58 and change on a training track, it was very unusual. It's almost commonplace nowadays to see a lot of horses with fast works on the training track. Whether it's going to stay like that or not, I don't know. But it's been like that for over the last month, and you know, it's just something to throw into your handicapping equation.
Race number 10 is for Calbred 3-year-olds. It's the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby going 1 1/16. Also, race 10 begins the $5 late daily double with a reduced 15% takeout as well. Good field of 8, including number 1, Shea Brennan from the Phil D'Amato barn, 5-2 on the morning line. Good field here. Who do you like and why, Gary?
You know, I was gonna maybe take a little shot in this race and put the 6 horse on top. He's ran very well. I think the 1 1/16 I think he could get that. I mean, this horse was wide and pulling all the way the other day. He only got beat 1.5 lengths by Shea Brennan. I thought this horse would have more value than Shea Brennan, and I put that horse on top. I looked at the other Peter Miller horse in there that's stretching out, Style Cat. Juan Hernandez rode it the other day. It ran okay. It should be able to get, with Kitten's Joy on the bottom, it should be able to get the trip in there. People that own the horse have the box next to me at Del Mar. They're very nice people. Not that should factor into the equation.
Depends if they give you some tips or not.
You know, they're just good people.
Go ahead.
And you know, the bottom horse, I threw that horse in as my third choice. Drop him. They don't need to drop this horse right now. He's 3 for 3, so they're dropping him is not going to happen. You know, he won first time out and paid 9 to 5, so obviously it was no secret. But he jumped right into the stakes ranks and won, and he won the other day. It's just that he didn't stay up after an inquiry. But horse obviously knows how to know where the wire is. worked okay here and gets my man Mike Smith on the horse.
We close out a tremendous day of racing honoring the Calabreds in race number 11, which is the Leon Howard California Cup Oaks $175,000 guaranteed purse for Calibred 3-year-old fillies. Also, race 11 offers $1 super high five wagering. One scratch the 9, Grateful My Love. That means the also eligible number 13 musical number does draw in. Also make the jockey on musical number Flavian Pratt. The morning line favorite is number 10, Hey Jesse from the Sean McCarthy barn, 5-2 according to Jeff Siegel. What's race 11 according to Gary Young?
The first time Take Another Card ran, I bet on this horse. And
Your heart must have sank when he broke from the gate.
you know, I'm like, what the hell? You know, I mean, and then, you know, Frankie, you know, he didn't panic, which he's not going to, but the horse just started picking up. She just started picking up horses and got up to fourth, and then just relaxed for him a little bit. And, you know, she ran an awesome race. Now I don't believe she can afford to break like that today and beat these horses. But if she breaks good, I don't see any reason why she shouldn't stretch out. And, you know, I respect Grateful My Love, and I respect Tequila and Therapy. Those were my underneath horses for the race. There's a lot of hard hitting fillies in here, but I like the way this filly won Take Another Card. She could be a really nice filly in my book.
Lots of wagering opportunities on today's card. One wager we haven't talked about is the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. Did you see the payout on yesterday's $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5? By the way, the Coast to Coast Pick 5 will be offered not only on Saturdays and Sundays, but also every Friday in the month of January. Yesterday's payout on the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5 in excess of $15,000. Today's sequence, as you can see, begins with Gulfstream Park, race number 10, 1:49 p.m. Pacific time. 3 races from San Eden, including races 7, 9, and 11. $1 minimum low takeout. Make sure that you get involved. Gary, it's always a pleasure having you on here. I learn something new each and every time you're on. Nothing but the best of luck, not only today, but also in all the upcoming sales that you go to. You've been able to find a lot of diamonds in the rough, and I hope you find a few more this year.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Have nothing but fun and good luck today here at the Great Race Place.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the winner's circle as well as the flagpole in the infield. We welcome Tony Scruggs, who will perform the Star-Spangled Banner. Tony is an accomplished vocalist in the greater Los Angeles area, with decades of experience in the studio as well as on the live stage. She's sung everything from jazz to folk to Broadway with some of the world's greatest voices, including Chaka Khan, Anita Baker, Christina Aguilera, and the late Whitney Houston. You can catch her soon back on tour with Chaka Khan. Please rise to honor America as we proudly present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Tony Scruggs. The good news is we will hear her again after the 5th with her rendition of God Bless America. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It pays to be Calbred. Today we celebrate the Calbreds and the breeders. The track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. Welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the changes. Race 1 starts the early pick 5, scratch 1 throw in heat, scratch 10 Brahms Mendelssohn. Jockey change for 9 Twilight Time to Asael Espinoza. In the second, number 4 Shake the Dust, 3 pounds over. Race 3, no scratches or jockey changes, just the blinker note. The fourth is the Don Valpredo Cal Cup Sprint, scratch number 2 Geezer. Note that 4 Big City Lights, the jockey Flavien Prat, there's no show wagering. Kazushi Kimura off his mounts today. Race 5, we have a special middle pick 4 on races 5 through 8. Number 7, Got Soul, will now be ridden by Armando Ayuso. In the 6th, pick 6 starts on races 6 through 11. It's a $2 wager. Scratch number 2, Shady Appeal. The 7th is the Sunshine Millions Philly Amir Turf Sprint presented by John Deere. Number 2, Moment's Pleasure, the jockey Flavien Prat. Scratch number 4, Satellite Heart. The 7th also starts the all-turf pick 3. The 8th kicks off the late pick 4, number 6, Western Freedom, the jockey Armando Ayuso. In the 9th, the Unusual Heat Turf Classic, presented by City National Bank. $3 late pick 3 offered on the 9th with no changes. In the 10th, the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby starts the late double with no changes, $5 late double. And we close out the program with the Leanne Howard Cal Cup Oaks. Scratch number 9, Grateful My Love. Note that number 13 musical number draws in and will now be ridden by Flavien Prat. Super high 5 offered on the 11th only. Enjoy the celebration of Cal Cups Day here at Santa Anita Park. We kick things off in 25 minutes at 11:30. We will have special holiday racing on Monday, day after tomorrow. $1 beers and sodas and $2 hot dogs, $1 day, this coming Monday. And we do offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5 on Saturdays and Sundays. And for the rest of January, we will offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5 on Fridays as well. Today's Coast to Coast Pick 5 begins at 1:49 Pacific with Gulfstream Park's 10th race.